Imagine a world where Hitler's remilitarization of the Rhineland was met with force. The year was 1936. The place, the Rhineland, a demilitarized zone as per the Treaty of Versailles post-World War I. Adolf Hitler, the ambitious and ruthless leader of Nazi Germany, defied this agreement, sending German troops into the Rhineland. This audacious move was a gamble, a violation of international law that could have sparked immediate military retaliation. But it didn't. The world watched, but no nation dared to interfere, not even France, which shared a border with the Rhineland. Despite having a superior military force at the time, France chose a path of diplomatic protest over military action. Why, one might ask? A combination of political instability, fear of another war, and an underestimation of Hitler's ambitions led to this inaction. But let's delve into an alternate history. Suppose France had decided to react with force to Hitler's blatant disregard for the Treaty of Versailles. What if French troops had marched into the Rhineland, standing up against the Nazis? The German forces in the Rhineland at the time were not prepared for a full-scale conflict. In fact, their orders were to retreat if they encountered any sort of resistance. A French invasion could have potentially defeated the Germans in 1936, halting Hitler's plans and perhaps preventing the horrors of World War II. The balance of power in Europe could have shifted. The rise of the Nazis could have been stifled, saving millions of lives and averting a global conflict. While we can't change the past, we can learn from it. Looking back at these critical moments in history, we can see the consequences of inaction in the face of aggression. We can understand the importance of standing up against injustice and the risks of appeasement. Had the world powers acted decisively, the course of history might have been dramatically altered. As we continue exploring these what-if scenarios, we'll uncover more possibilities, more alternate histories, and perhaps gain a better understanding of the world we live in today. What if Italy and the Sudetenland had resisted Hitler's annexation of Austria in 1938? Let's delve into this historical crossroads. In March of 1938, Hitler orchestrated the Anschluss, the annexation of Austria into Nazi Germany, a significant stride in his plan for a unified German-speaking race. Yet this bold move met with little resistance from the Strasser Front, a coalition of Italy, France and Great Britain. They merely watched as Austria was absorbed, a silent acquiescence that further emboldened Hitler. But consider an alternative scenario. Imagine if Italy, along with France and Great Britain, had defied Hitler's ambitions, standing in solidarity with Austria. The combined military might of these nations could have posed a significant challenge to Hitler's then embryonic war machine. Italy particularly had a crucial role to play. Sharing a border with Austria, it could have offered immediate military support, potentially halting the German forces right at the Austrian frontier. France and Great Britain, though geographically distant, could have provided invaluable strategic and logistical support, creating a formidable opposition against Hitler's expansionist agenda. Would this united front have been successful? While it's impossible to say with certainty, it's not unreasonable to speculate that such a show of unified resistance might have disrupted Hitler's plans, possibly even averting the catastrophic events that followed. A united front could have potentially thwarted Hitler's ambitions much earlier. As we reflect on history, it's important to consider these alternative paths, not just for what they reveal about the past, but also for the lessons they may hold for the future. What if the Czechs had resisted Hitler's demands for the Sudetenland? The year was 1938, and the Sudetenland crisis was reaching a boiling point. The Sudetenland, a part of Czechoslovakia primarily inhabited by ethnic Germans, was demanded by Hitler under the guise of self-determination. This was Hitler's method, not a blitzkrieg, but a slow, creeping annexation, backed by the threat of force. Czechoslovakia, a young nation, found itself isolated. The country was betrayed by the Munich Agreement, where Britain, France and Italy, in a policy famously known as appeasement, handed over the Sudetenland to Hitler. Czechoslovakia was not even invited to the negotiations, but let's imagine a different scenario. What if Czechoslovakia had resisted? What if they had stood firm, refusing to surrender the Sudetenland? What if they had called Hitler's bluff and forced the hand of Britain and France to defend the principles they claimed to stand for? The Czechoslovakian army was formidable, with a ring of fortifications along the German border. Had they resisted, they might have sparked an earlier confrontation with the Third Reich. This could have forced the Allies into action, leading to a potentially less devastating war. With Hitler's war machine still in its infancy, the Allies could have had a fighting chance. Would this have changed the course of history? We can only speculate. Czech resistance might have sparked an earlier and possibly less devastating confrontation with the Third Reich. What if Poland was left on its own in 1939? As we delve into this hypothetical scenario, we invite you to travel back in time to the tumultuous year of 1939. Poland, a nation with a rich history and vibrant culture, found itself in the crosshairs of an aggressive and expansionist Nazi Germany. In the real timeline, Germany's invasion of Poland triggered the intervention of the Allies, marking the beginning of World War II. But let's pause for a moment and consider a different path. What if the Allies, seemingly unable to protect Poland, had allowed it to share the fate of Austria and Czechoslovakia? With no intervention from the Allies, Poland would have been left to fend for itself against the formidable German war machine. It's plausible that Poland would have fallen much quicker, surrendering to the overwhelming German forces. This would have given Hitler a substantial boost in morale, resources and strategic positioning, potentially altering the course of the war. The absence of Allied intervention could have also emboldened Hitler to push further westwards. With Poland under his control and no significant opposition from the Allies, Hitler might have felt invincible. It's not beyond reason to think that he could have gambled on a swift, decisive invasion of France. However, there's also a chance that the Allies might have been better prepared for a German offensive. The muddled defeat in 1940 could have been avoided if the Allies had focused on strengthening their own defences instead of rushing to Poland's aid. This could have potentially led to a more robust resistance against Germany's expansionist ambitions. Yet it's crucial to remember that these are hypothetical scenarios, and the reality was far different. The Allies did intervene when Poland was invaded, triggering a global conflict that would reshape the world. The decision to stand by Poland was a pivotal moment in history, leading to the start of World War II. These are not mere fantasies, but plausible alternate histories. As we journeyed through the pivotal moments leading up to World War II, we explored different outcomes that could have emerged had decisions been different. From the Rhineland's remilitarization to the fate of Poland, we saw how each decision, each action and each reaction played an integral part in shaping our history. By understanding these, we equip ourselves with the knowledge to prevent future conflicts. What is certain is that the choices made during these pivotal moments shape the world we live in today.